All right, last skill of the video. So we are going to talk about parameters and transforming functions. Okay, what we mean by transforming functions is taking a basic function and changing its equation so that its graph moves around. Okay, the way we do that is we start with a basic function, or what we call a parent function, and the parent functions just have something happening to y. Okay, they don't have any constants or numbers. So one of the most famous parent functions is this one, which we should look at in c², and know that this is going to be a parabola. Okay, our parameters work the same no matter what parent function we're working with. So we could start with x², we could start with the square root of x, we could start with x³. Okay, any of these parameters are going to work the same way. And here's how they work. A is going to be reflection. So if A is negative, it's going to flip upside down, it's going to reflect. And then it's going to stretch it. It's either going to make it taller and skinnier or fatter and wider. Okay. A, we always find in the front of the function. Okay, so in front. Okay, so we always find the A as the first constant in the front. Okay. The H controls my left and right, and H is found inside of parentheses with an X. So it's being included with the X, and something is special about H, which is that we always have X minus H here. Because this is a minus sign, what that's saying is that it's going to switch the sign when we plug in an output, or sorry, an input. When we plug in an input, it's going to switch the sign. So for example, if the input was 3, this would look like x minus 3. If the input was negative 3, it would look like x plus 3. Okay? So this one looks like it's a negative, but really we plugged in a positive 3. And this one looks positive, but really we plugged in a negative 3. So when you're thinking about H, you need to think about switching the sign. So if it looks like x minus 3, we know that we really had a 3 as our H. If it looks like x plus 3, we really had a negative 3. Okay, so remembering to switch the sign in terms of our H, in terms of our left and right movement. Okay. And then K is up and down, and K is found on the outside of parentheses. It's not included in an operation with X. It's usually added on in the back. Okay, and our K, because this is an addition sign, it looks exactly the same. So if we have x plus 4, then K must be positive 4. We don't switch the sign on K, just on H. So let's try moving a couple of these around. And what you're going to want to do before thinking about drawing any of these on your own is make sure that you remember what the parent functions look like. So go on my website, I have the parent functions link, but you could also just Google parent functions and see what all of these basic graphs look like. And from there, we're going to move them around. We'll do one more so that you can see that this works with any type of function. So if I'm looking at this one, I know that this is a square root function. We don't have an exponent in this one, but we know that the square root is a parent function. So the square root of x, I'm going to draw that one first, I know starts here and goes like this. Okay. So that's my basic square root function, my parent function. Now I'm going to think about a, h, and k. So I know that my a is going to be negative 1/2 because it is in the front. My h is contained inside with the x, so my h would be not negative 4, but positive 4 because of that little h trick that we talked about. And then k is going to be what's at the back, which is negative 2. So h is 4, that's positive, that means it's moving to the right. K is negative 2, so it's moving down. Negative 1/2 means that it's flipping because of the negative. And then the 1/2 is actually getting closer to 0. So that's going to mean that my graph is going to get fatter or wider. So now I can draw this, and I'm going to move it. So in the red, I'm going to draw the new one. Same thing, you want to pick a point that is the most simple point, and on all of our parent graphs, or almost all of them, we have the point 0, 0. So that's going to be the one that's easiest to move. So this 0, 0, I'm going to take and I'm going to move it right 4 and down 2 to right here. Okay, and then I know it's going to flip upside down, so instead of going upwards in a curve, it's going to be a downwards curve. And wider in this case means it's going to be a little bit of a deeper curve like this. Okay, again, not perfect, but you've got to sketch a good idea of what your equation is going to be doing. And from that, you can find a lot of different things that we're going to talk about in future videos.